Okay, it's now morning again, and I'm back on this thing. It was getting late in the afternoon, and I just didn't feel like breaking out the welder to go ahead and start welding this up. But this is what I had noticed when I was mocking it up, that this edge right here, this piece here, which is on the inside of what will be the tube, I didn't think this was going to be an interference issue, but it is. So I got to get out the grinder and grind right along this edge. See, that is cut at a slight angle, and I did that deliberately so that there wouldn't be an interference issue, but it still is right here at this point. So I'm going to grind that down to a little bit. There's my flap wheel still. But this is what I'm going to do. This is where I keep all my grinding wheels. I keep it in an old DeWalt box. This is actually the box that my grinder comes in. You can still see the T-handle and the chuck wrench. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a new grinding wheel that still has a nice sharp edge on it. And we'll come over to here, and you can see what we'll do is we'll use that nice sharp edge and cut right in there. I always keep a new grinding wheel on hand with a nice sharp edge so that you can do the kind of stuff like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't take long before you grind that edge off, and now you've got a radiused edge on your grinding wheel, and which doesn't do you any good for the sharp corners. Now, a cutoff wheel could do that too, but I've found that when I use a cutoff wheel for grinding, they have a tendency to shatter because they don't like doing grinding. They don't like lateral force. They like direct force. You start putting a load on it laterally, and they bust. So, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get grinding on that, and then I'll mock it back up. When I did mock it up earlier, there was a slight gap between the two, and that's because, believe it or not, this big, huge, heavy angle iron isn't perfectly straight. And you find that out when you put the two of them together, that it creates about 1/8 of an inch gap. But that's nothing that I can't overcome with a nice big C-clamp. I'll get a weld on one end, and then I'll put the C-clamp at the other and squeeze it together, and then put another weld in. And that's how it'll go. So let's get started.